and this is EDC 351 for all level 300s who are taking the course this semester. The title of the course is Introduction to Guidance and Counseling. For today, we will be looking at the principles of guidance and counseling as it was advertised on your various student platform. So when we talk of principle, or we say somebody is being principled, there are two different things. So when we are saying principle of something, or somebody has some principles, then as an individual, that guides the person as to what to do and what not to do. So in guidance and counseling too, we have our various principles and objectives that guides what we do as guidance coordinators. As a student of this course, you are being exposed to understand the socio-emotional and psychological issues of students and how it affects their academic performance in the schools or any other place you find yourself. So if you are a security person, if you are a health professional, if you are a self-employed individual, then you need to understand these principles and these objectives to guide your practice. In our various classrooms, we have our lesson plan. And this lesson plan, we normally have the objectives. Now they refer to as strands. These strands guides us what to do and what not to do. It tells us what we are to teach that very day and what we are not supposed to teach that very day. So we will go into details what we mean by principles. So by principles, we are saying is the fundamental truth that is accepted by most authorities as characteristics of the guidance function. And last week, we had the opportunity to meet Dr. Dankwa to talk about the guidance functionaries. So principles are fundamental truth. And if you say something is factual, that means it's objective. Whoever comes to do it or whoever takes it understand from a particular viewpoint. So these principles in most cases include statements of assumptions, aims, and practice. And these principles of guidance and counseling are the philosophical framework within which guidance and counseling activity are developed and program organized. So these principles guides what we do. It sets the framework, it sets the bar within which you are supposed to administer guidance or counseling to the various students. So what are these principles of guidance? We will look at guidance, then we will look at counseling. So if you are with me and you have your pen and your book, the first principle that we want to talk about is that guidance is concerned primarily and systematically with personal development of the individual. Guidance is concerned basically with the personal development of the individual. If you remember in our first meeting, looking at the concept of guidance and counseling, in one of the concepts, or in one of the definition of guidance, we said it's helping an individual to understand himself and his or her environment. So understanding oneself, understanding what he can do and what he cannot do, understanding the strength and the weakness of the individual, understanding the interests of the individual is a cardinal point in guidance, because we want to assure the individual that these are what you can do and these are what you cannot do. So we are saying guidance basically is concerned with the development of the individual. And as the individual develops, it affects the whole society. Again, another point worth noting is that guidance is for all. Guidance is for all. In this case, we will say guidance is for all students if you are in the classroom. If you are in the hospital, we say guidance is for all patients. If you're a self-employed individual, then guidance is for each and every individual within your establishment. So guidance is not for only an individual or a certain group of students or a certain group of people. No, guidance stretches its tentacles to cover each and every individual that needs his or her support. So guidance is for all individuals. Another principle is that the primary mode by which guidance is conducted lies in individual behavioral processes. Individual behavioral processes, because we understand that no two individuals are the same. No two individuals are the same. So, depending on the case of that individual, we help get the solution that will help that individual to resolve his or her problem. So the primary mode by which guidance is conducted lies in individual behavioral processes. Your issue might be different from mine. Your issue might be different from another person. So based on the issue that you come to counseling with, we help you identify the necessary resources that will help you resolve the problem. So the primary mode by which guidance is conducted lies in individual behavioral processes. The fourth point we want to discuss is that guidance is a continuous process and a program for all ages. Guidance is a continuous process and it's a program for all ages. So, guidance is not an event, it's a process. By process, we mean it takes some time for the ultimate objective to be realized. So if you need assistance, it's not a quick fix. It's not a one-stop shop. But you need to go through some processes to be able to help you understand the situation you find yourself and how you will be able to resolve these challenges. The last one we want to talk about a principle of guidance. There are lots. If you read your literature, if you read your other books, or if you just go on your various AI or search engine, just type in principles of guidance and you get 110 more than explaining the various principles that guides an individual. So the last one we want to talk about is that guidance is oriented towards cooperation, not compulsion. Cooperation and not compulsion. What do you mean? We are saying that an individual who needs guidance should, in one way or the other, avail him or herself for the service. If you are appointed as a guidance coordinator in your school, you cannot be going around and be looking at people's face and say, hey, I can see you have a problem. See me at the office. No, that's not how we work. If you think that an individual has a problem, there are ways in which to go about it. So you could say, well, Kofi, nowadays I've seen that you have been mixing a lot of classes. I hope all is well. You just leave it on that note. You continue to observe. Next time you approach Kofi, then Kofi, it looks like nowadays your absenteeism is becoming unbecoming. Is there anything that you want to talk about? If you want to talk about anything, let me know. Or you can come to the counseling center or to the counseling office for us to have a discussion. So it's based on cooperation, working together. You cannot go and drag somebody by hand to your office that you are going to provide guidance for the person. A lot of the time when an individual, some of you were referred from the disciplinary committee to see the guidance coordinator for some counseling. Most of the time you come and you just sit in the chair, then you'll be sitting there. The counselor will ask you, what brought you here? Or as part of his rapport creation, he wants to know why you are here. And the only answer most of the time you give is that they said I should come and see you. Meaning the individual is being forced for a service that the individual himself is not ready to go through. So we say guidance is based on cooperation and not compulsion. There are other principles that guides guidance. Some include guidance is a teamwork. Last is you don't work alone. You work with other individuals within the school setting and even outside the school setting. Again, in guidance, decision making is essential. At the end, you, the client, or the counselor, or the guidance coordinator, is to help the client or the counselee to make an informed decision. So these and many more are principles that guides guidance. Now let's look at some principles of counseling. Some of it share the same characteristics or the same principles with that of guidance. So with that, We are saying that counseling, and as part of it principle, has that principle of acceptance and recognition of uniqueness of an individual. So in guidance, just as in counseling, just as in guidance, we take into consideration the uniqueness of the individual who is coming for counseling. Always we say that no two persons are the same. They may have the same or similar issues, but maybe the approach to resolve these issues might not be the same. The approach you may use for scenario 1 might be different approach you may use for scenario 2, although they have similar issues to deal with. And let me give you a typical example. 2 students might come for counseling, and all of them are saying that they are not performing well in the academics. So in exploring the situation, you may realize that with counselor A, he is not performing well in his academics because he is not having enough time to study. But in client B, that person is not performing well in his academics because his style of learning might not be the best. But by the end, the 2 individuals are all saying that they are not performing well in their academics. For one, is because he's not making judicial use or good use of his time. The other person is not about not making good use of his time, but it's about not knowing the right skill that helps an individual to learn better. So you cannot use the same approaches for these 2 individuals. And that's why we say in counseling, we accept the unique or the uniqueness of the individual. Again, another principle of counseling is that it strives on respect and recognition of individual dignity. Respect and recognition of individual dignity. And always I say that the individual is with a problem, but the individual is not the problem. The individual has issue of non-performance, but the individual is not a non-performing person. So what we do is to help the individual to deal with those things that are affecting his or her life, so that we can get the individual in a holistic manner. So then we need to respect and recognize the dignity of an individual. It's today that the person has a problem. That's why he has come to you for you to assist. So you don't have to treat the person anyhow because you are the guidance coordinator or you are the counselor in the school. We need to respect the dignity of the individual. Again, we are saying that counseling, as part of its principle, has it that principle of thinking with the individual. Counseling is different from advice giving. In advice giving, most of the time, you tell the individual what to do. But in counseling, together with the client, you explore the problem, and together you explore the various solutions that will help in resolving the problem. That is what we mean by thinking with the individual or with the client. You are not there to profess on the individual, or you there to direct people. No. Counseling is not advice giving. Counseling is assisting the individual to explore the problem, identify the various solutions to the problem, and deciding on which of the problem will help, on which of the solution will help in resolving the problem. So one of the principles in counseling is that we think with the individual. Again, another principle of counseling is that we always have to learn. So the principle of learning. In counseling, we help our client to understand the issue and to learn new way to do it and to resolve the problem. So let's go back to our two clients. Client A, who is not making good use of his time, and client B, who doesn't know the appropriate style of learning that will suit him. Each individual has a style of learning that suits him or her in performing. So you cannot be comparing yourself with other people. So you see that somebody is sitting there or always by the book, and you think that always by the book means that you are learning. It might not necessarily be so. So you understanding who you are and identifying the learning style that is most appropriate to you will be the best. So with our client A, we have to help him understand and learn how to use timetable and go by the things that he put on his or her personal timetable. So learning how to use or how to draw a personal timetable. With our client B, maybe what we can do for him is to help him identify his type of personality and identify which skill will help the client to make good use and perform well with his or academic performance. Again, just as in guidance, we say counseling is for all ages and it's for each and every individual. Another principle is that counseling strives on confidentiality. Confidentiality in the sense that you are privileged to listen to this information. The person came to you because you are the counselor. He would have gone to any other person. But because you are the counselor in the school or in the church, that's why he came to you for assistance. But we don't assure our client of absolute confidentiality. What we assure of our client is partial confidentiality, because there are situations where there is the need to break confidentiality. One of it is when there's a threat, either to the client himself or to another person, or when there's a threat to property. So you cannot come for counseling and say, tomorrow I'm going to burn somebody's house, and the counselor will have to keep quiet on it. No. When there is an abuse of any person, especially children and the aged, or when you are either summoned by a court of competence jurisdiction. In these cases, then the counselor have no choice than to break confidentiality. So counseling strives on confidentiality. Again, counseling is non-judgmental. As a counselor, you are not there to profess morality. You are not there to judge people. Hey, so this is what you have been doing. No. You are there to assist an individual to resolve his or her problem. So this and many more, when you read your various books, when you go into the internet, you will be able to understand that these are the principles of guidance and these are the principles of counseling. We'll go for a break. When we come, we'll talk about types of guidance. Types of guidance. This is Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM.
FM.
Yes, if you dream big. We have all the faculties to help you realize your dream. And that's why, in the wisdom of the university, these programs are there to assist you to become a holistic individual. So before the break, we said we were going to talk about types of guidance. Types of guidance. So basically, we have three. We have educational guidance, we have vocational guidance, and we have personal social guidance. We have educational guidance, we have vocational guidance, and we have personal social guidance. We'll take them one after the other and look at it, but we will begin with educational guidance. So educational guidance addresses several educational problems that the learner faces during the years he spends on campus. educational guidance. So as students, what are some of the things that you are likely to face? Some of the things the challenges that you are likely to face. You can send us or just leave a comment on our Facebook wall and we'll read it. As students, we face several issues. We face several issues ranging from poor academic performance, issue with grades, issue with lecturers or with teachers if we find ourselves in the lower schools. So educational guidance is to help the individual resolve all these challenges. Again, educational guidance helps the learner to succeed in their educational endeavor and to attain their educational objective. So as the student, you have your objective in life, what you want to be or who you want to be in life. So educational guidance will help you realize this dream of becoming a scientist, of becoming a waste management expert, of becoming a footballer, or becoming anything that you have thought that you want to be in future, especially becoming a teacher, which is also a very good profession. So it's designed to help learners make more effective use of the school training. And what are the importance of educational guidance? I'll just mention two. Then when you call, you can tell me what you have also researched. So one, we are saying that educational guidance help learners to pursue the right type of education. Which of them do you want? Is it the technical one or you want the grammar type one? What course do you even want to go and read when you go to the SHS or when you go to the College of Education or when you go to the university or technical university? Educational guidance is there to help you select or make the right educational choice. Then again, educational guidance assists learners to realize their academic potentials. So academically, what can I do? What are my best courses? All these are made possible by educational guidance. So we have components of educational guidance. We have one, school selection and entry. Just recently, our brothers and sisters wrote their BEC, and after the BEC, they are to select the various schools and the courses that they want to go and read. As a guidance person in your school, you are to help the student to make an informed choice. Which school do they want to go to? What are the entry requirements? Because you know that the schools are put in various categories. So category A, category B, category C, category D. And we have others. What are the entry? What are the cutoff points for category A school or B or C? All these things are to be made known to the student. Again, educational guidance also offers academic counseling. Over here, every department has academic counselors, and these academic counselors are to assist the students in their academic pursuit. Then again, educational guidance also help in providing study guide, just as we did for client A and that of client B. Another type of guidance is vocational guidance. Vocational guidance. With educational guidance, of which we have talked about, is everything about the academic performance of the individual. Everything about the academic performance of the individual. So when you talk of vocational guidance, we are looking at everything that has to do with the world of work. So vocational guidance, also known as occupational or career guidance. So in some literature or in some books, you either see vocational, occupational, or career guidance. They are all, in this context, they are all the same. So vocational guidance, also known as occupational guidance or career guidance, is a process of helping an individual to choose an occupation, prepare for it, enter it, and progress. So one, we are helping, as a guidance person in your school, you are helping the individual to choose the occupation or career or vocation. 2, to prepare for it. 3, enter it. And 4, to progress. So if the student has determined to come and read, let's say, a course like counseling in the university, as part of the preparation for the individual, he will need to have the academic qualification to be able to enter into the world of work. So as part of the academic preparation, which is taken care by the educational guidance, he chooses UAW, chooses the Department of Counseling Psychology, comes to read counseling either for 4 years or 2 years, so that the individual can enter into the world of work, whether he's going to do counseling at the educational sector or at the health sector, or he's going to go into private practice. If he's going to go into the educational sector, what are the requirements for an individual to get a job in GES? What are the various ranks? That's the progression. What are the various ranks in GES establishment? So all these things are made known to the students. So vocational guidance has everything to do in the world of work. So learners are assisted through vocational guidance to come to terms with occupational realities as regard career awareness and career choice. Just as in educational guidance, we saw the various components. In vocational guidance too, we have various components. We have self-analysis. We have vocational, career, or occupational information. We have placement. we have consultation, and we have evaluation. I take it again. We have self-analysis, we have vocational or occupational or career information, we have placement, we have consultation, and we have evaluation. So by self-analysis, getting to know who you are, what are your qualifications, what can your qualification get you. So everything about who you are is the self-analysis. When you come to vocational, occupational, or career information, everything about the dream work or the job that you have been admitted to or the job that you want to be employed. So if it is GES, what are the basic requirements for somebody to get an employment in GES? Which sector in GES? Is it teaching or a non-teaching staff? What are the salary range? How many hours am I to work? All these are information about the job. Then we have placement. When you enter into the job, there are various offices or there are various places within the same establishment that the individual is working. So if you have been employed in GES, are you going to work at the office or you are going to work in the classroom? Even if it's in the classroom, there are different classes. Which classes or which session are you going to teach? Is it upper primary or lower primary or early childhood? Or you are going to go to the SHS or the JHS. So you are being placed as where you have or your qualification, gets you to. Then consultation. At times we may not have an in-depth understanding or knowledge or information about the world of work. So we intend to seek help from people who are either already there or people who have already been there before and they are not there to guide us, or people who have information about that job. So we need to consult. Then, after some time, we need to evaluate ourselves whether we are either being underemployed or we are being misused. Again, you also need to assess yourself whether you are progressing in the job or you are not progressing in the job. And all these are part of evaluation. So these are the components of vocational guidance. The last type of guidance that we want to talk about is that of personal social guidance. Personal social guidance. So it's two concepts or it's two words put together. We have personal and we have social. So personal social guidance or social personal guidance. In some books, you see social personal guidance or guidance, social and personal guidance. So it's a process of helping an individual to know how to behave. The key word, how to behave. 1, relate with other people. 2, deal with situation. 3, in order to improve on the quality of life that concerns human existence. I take it again. process of helping an individual to know how to behave, relate with other people, and deal with situations. So this type of guidance is more of helping the individual to deal with situation. How do you behave? Most of the times I tell students that nowadays when you write for employment and they are calling you for an interview, it's not those old face-to-face interview. You may be called for an interview and they will tell you that, oh, the company is going to have a dinner this evening. So join us at the dinner, and over there we will have some interaction and see how it goes. One, they want to assess, as a corporate individual, how do you even dress? But this is the situation, all your trousers are jeans, and even the jeans, they are not the full jeans, they are tattered jeans. So when it gets to that point, you see they will be making calls. Kofi, abeg, shall you get any trouble? Find one, black one. The company, they call me, or they say some dinner be, when I go, I'm going to sport there. So you go, and as part of the meals, only you, the food on your meal, on your plate, is more than Mountain Afajato. How to behave. So you are carrying your tray and you are coming back. Nobody can see you because the heap of the food is just too much. And all these things, individuals are there spotting you or looking at how you are handling yourself. If you should be entrusted as the employee of this company and you are sent to a place to go and represent the company, and you are going for a dinner and you don't even know how to eat and talk whilst food is in your mouth, chop, 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 and you are still talking. All these things are taken care by the personal social guidance. On campus, there is no course called personal social guidance. These things you have to observe and know. You may get few lecturers who will want to let you know or correct you when things are going wayward. But what do you see? Some of these lecturers, we tend to hate them because what we are doing is not right, and they know it's going to affect us when we get to the world of work. And when you are being corrected to, you are annoyed. So you need to observe. On campus, they will tell you that, oh, departmental dinner or awards night. And you see some of the dressing that the students bring, and you ask yourself, is this what they are taking to the world of work? And they will always tell you that, oh, when I get there, I'll change. Change doesn't come at once. Change is a process. So personal social guidance helps to groom you to become a holistic individual. So it deals with information about human being, which will help the learner to understand himself or herself better and to improve himself or herself in relation with others. There are a lot of issues going on in our various hostels because we are always having issue with our roommate. We seem not to understand ourselves as roommates. So one wants to sleep with light, the other person doesn't want to sleep with light. So throughout the night, doom so, doom so, doom so, doom so, till daybreak. By the time they wake up or it's 6 o'clock, they are already exhausted. So personal social guidance is to help groom you in all aspects. How to behave, how to relate with people, and how to deal with situations. And how to deal with situation. So for its importance, there are numerous. Help learners to be intact or in contact with their world and gain experience that will enable them to cope with problems they encounter. How do you deal with problems you encounter every day? Again, help learners to come to a self-realization and make decisions that will affect their own life. All these are some importance of personal social guidance. You can send in your questions if you have any, or you can call us on 050-392-3158, 050-392-3158, or those of us watching us on Facebook, you can leave your comments on our wall and we will read them out and answer them. So let's look at the last part of it and we'll bring it to a close. Component of personal social guidance. 1. Awareness of society. So an individual, you need to be aware of the society in which you find yourself. So in UEW, you should be aware of things that happen in UEW. You should be aware of the things that happens in Winneba. Wherever you find yourself, you have to be aware of the things that goes on within that society that you find yourself. It will help shape you. It will help you understand how the individuals within that society deals with issues. So awareness of nature of the society. 2, self-appraisal. Self-appraisal can be seen from 2 angles. It's either you, the individual, appraising yourself, reflecting on the things that you have been doing and see those that are helping you and those that are not helping you, or you allow an individual to appraise you. Because most of the time, our friends can also give an input as to how we are managing our lives, especially the good friends, not those of us who will always be cheering you up. Even when you are standing in the middle of the road, they'll tell you that, oh, the place is good. The place is good. Let me get you mattress to sleep on the road. And by the time you realize you are dead and you have to sleep again. Then again, another component is relevance in program. So the program that you are reading in UEW, what is the relevance? Have you sat down? Have you even talked to your lecturers to know the occupational options of the program that you are reading? Have you even sat down to go online? I'm reading this program, counseling. What are my occupational angles? Political science, hypers, any other work program that you are reading. What are the various jobs that require that kind of service? So you should understand the relevance of the program that you are doing. Then, behavioral assignment. Taking time to assess who you are. Knowing who you are is not simply just knowing your name, where you come from, and what you are doing. No. It goes beyond. So that behavioral assessment is needed. Behavioral assignment, is needed to appreciate who you are. Then again, the last component is group facilitation. In group facilitation, we have individuals who have similar challenges put together and being guided by a counselor to resolve their issue. In other literature, you see group counseling. So these are the various components when we talk of personal social guidance. So with the various types of guidance, one, we talk about educational guidance, which has everything to do with your education, choosing the program, length of study, the entry requirement for a particular program or a particular institution, everything that has to do with education. Then we talked about vocational guidance, everything that has to do with the world of work, selecting the occupation, knowing the entry requirement, knowing the structure within the organization, everything that has to do with the world of work. Then the last one has to do with personal social guidance, everything that has to do with your personal grooming for the world of work. Yes, on our Facebook wall, we have Georgina listening from AMOAKO, Jan saying good one there, dog. Hannah listening from AMOAKO campus, Akane Zema department. Lamte also listening from South Campus, French department. Yes, I had a lecture with you just before coming here. So greetings to everybody in there. Then again, we have Apostle Stephen also listening live from South Campus. All right, so thank you very much for listening. If you have any question, we have some few minutes that we'll take those questions. So you can call 050-392-3158. You can send us a WhatsApp or visit our Facebook wall and leave a message and we will answer it. So we'll be waiting for your calls whilst we take some break.
Iconic in the shit. Shine your eyes, come on, let's unite. From the north to the south and central, we are one. Oh, let's decide to pay that price. Yes, we aim, providing higher education. No, just one name, which belongs to me, that belongs to you. So let's join our hands and say to the world, what be the name? Doing up you. What be the name, boy? Doing up you. What be the name? Doing up you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We hear you. You should be proud. Raise your voice, be loud. Oh. It's the best institution where teachers are trained. Oh. We will shape that future, making you the teacher. So if you dream big. All of the department and faculty, Spartans, Davians, Trojans, fast to unity. All of the affiliate of Simpa, Uni, that they agree. What be the name? Doing up you. What be the name, boy? Doing up you. What be the name? Doing up you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We hear you. See your name, it's in our hearts. So we ready, fighting from the start. We will shape it.
Yes, the name is UAW, where you can get the best of all the education, giving you holistic development. And for today, we looked at the various principles of guidance and counseling, and we also looked at the various types of guidance and counseling, the various types of guidance. So with the principle of guidance, yes, we say guidance is for all students. Guidance has to do with the individual. When we come to counseling, some principle of counseling is that counseling recognizes the dignity and respect of the individual And in counseling, we think with our client. From there, we went on to look at the various types of guidance, which are educational guidance, vocational guidance, and personal social guidance. All these types of guidance aim at helping the individual to develop holistically. So educational guidance helps the individual with everything that has to do with the world of work, with the world of education, program selection, and everything that will help the individual to succeed in education. Vocational guidance helps the individual to succeed in the world of work, whilst personal social guidance help to totally groom the individual for life, helping the individual to behave well, helping the individual to relate well with others, and helping the individual to be at peace with him or herself. So if you joined us, yes, this EDC 351, Introduction to Guidance and Counseling. And once again, thank you very much for listening. You know, next week is mid-semester. So please do well to learn hard and go there and shine and make UW proud. Take your time to read all the information about education, examination in UW, so that you don't go and engage yourself in examination malpractice. Best of luck in your midsem. We'll meet again after midsem. My name is Dr. BM AMOAKO, Department of Counseling Psychology. Bye-bye.